003 Wilderness Area. The former Steel City has become the territory of monsters. A large number of weeds and wild flowers grow in the gaps of the reinforced concrete, covering the building with a layer of green. All kinds of monsters live in the ruins of the city, and wolves, dogs, and pigs are the most common and ubiquitous here. Staying in a certain place for a while, you can hear the intense howls of monsters from time to time. The 003 Wilderness Area, known as the Tomb of the Weak, is full of creatures that make the gods of war a headache, making countless warriors who want to explore discouraged. More than 30 years have passed since the Great Nirvana era, and all corners of the world have reformed closed loops of ecology and species. Except for those base cities, other places have become paradise for monsters. In an abandoned high-rise building, a man barely opened his eyes. Looking at everything around him, he was speechless for a while. Didn't I stumble and fall while riding the cable car in the valley? How did I come to this broken place? There is no such broken building under that valley. Before Su Chong could finish speaking, a flood of information entered his mind. In the era of Great Nirvana, warriors, generals, gods of war, lord-level monsters, beast-tide, Hong, Thor. My identity is a human warrior who has been trapped in the wilderness for half a year. After Su Chong digested all the news, a mechanical synthesis sound suddenly sounded in his mind. The strongest upgrade system has been activated. What the host is now in is to devour the starry world. The system's cross-space permissions have been used up, so the host cannot be sent back. Please accept the status quo. Devouring the starry world? Hearing this, Su Chong was slightly taken aback. As a fan of internet literature in his previous life, of course, he had read this popular internet article. He once also had considerable longing for this world, and longed to traverse the universe and surpass hundreds of millions of people. Superior. But the problem now is that this world is equally cruel to the extreme. Without enough strength, it is just a piece of meat on someone else's chopping board, which can only be manipulated at will. Luckily, he also has the Golden Finger system. It is detected that the current strength of the host is too weak and unable to survive in this area. Issue the novice gift pack, whether to open it. At this time, of course, there is no need to hesitate too much. Turn on. The voice fell, and a series of voices sounded in his mind. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the apprentice's 7th Order Martial Artist Cultivation Base. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the apprentice's 7th Order Spiritual Master Cultivation Base. Get the secret 9-layered soul seal. Get the sword technique Fuxi sword technique. When the voice fell, two powerful forces entered Su Chang's body and began to transform his body in an instant. An indescribable comfort appeared, and Su Chang only felt that every cell in his body was cheering, as if he had received some kind of nourishment that he had never had before. At the same time, his brain has also undergone great changes. It seems that a whole new space has been opened up in his mind. The mental power extends intuitively from his body, and a powerful force can erupt at any time. After finishing the transformation and baptism, Su Chang's body has undergone great changes. The angular muscles are reflected in his body, and his spirit has also undergone great changes. Just from the appearance, you can see that he is completely different from before. At the same time, 9 layers of soul seals and Fuxi sword art also appeared deep in his brain. The techniques rewarded by the system will provide the most detailed answers and insights for Su Chang, which is of great help to Su Chang's study, and may be troublesome for others to practice, but for Su Chang, it is not. What would be a big problem? All he needs to do is to slowly use and become familiar with these two things. The 7th level apprentice is the primary god of war on earth today. Warrior and spiritual master are two gods of war. In such a situation, it shouldn't be too much even if the entire earth is rummaged through, right? What's more, I still have 2 techniques, 9 layers of soul seal and Fuxi saber technique, which far exceed the strongest martial arts and spiritual master cultivation methods on the earth today. Although the seventh order apprentice represented by the primary god of war is nothing in the universe, he does not even have the qualifications to wander the universe. But in the earth that has not really connected with the universe today, such strength is still very powerful, and it is already qualified to be desperately attracted by the vast majority of forces. Opening the personal page, the following series of panel data appeared in front of Su Chong. Host, Su Chong. Origin of life form, ordinary earth human race realm, apprentice level 7, junior god of war, spiritual power, apprentice level 7, elementary god of war, martial arts secrets, 9 layers of soul seals, Fuxi sword technique system points, 0 items, none. Every move and style can produce a full sonic boom effect. Su Chong slammed straight into the reinforced concrete wall in front of him, destroying large blocks of buildings in an instant. No pressure whatsoever. The high-rise building fell in the rubble, causing bursts of dust. Su Chong jumped up from these cracks, feeling the absolutely powerful strength in his body, and an indescribable joy was born in his heart. The problem now is that I don't have a handy weapon yet. System wall. Opening the system wall, hundreds of thousands of pages of UU reading www.uuganshu.com appeared in front of him. In terms of tools, everything is as small as a bicycle, as large as a star destroyer, and a mechanical god-class spacecraft. Among the items to assist cultivation, from the cheapest genetic medicine, wood tooth crystals, to the cosmic treasures that have a great effect on the true and can help understand the law. There are countless things like Moyun vine, star-eating grass, demon killer clones, and golden horned giant beast clones, which makes Su Chong very envious. These things need to be exchanged through system points. The prices on the back of most of the items are also prohibitive to look at, and the zero almost didn't look into Hua Suchang's eyes. There are 2 ways to obtain system points. Complete system tasks and kill monsters. Kill monsters? Su Chang's gaze looked at the large number of walking monsters below, and a very obvious smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. It seems that if I can create a set of equipment I need in the system store, I have to start with these guys. A powerful spiritual force emerged from Su Chang's body. The surrounding pieces of reinforced concrete were surrounded by his thought power. After rising, they smashed straight towards a wild boar who was wandering aimlessly ahead. You must know that the power displayed by the spiritual power of the spiritual master is even greater than that of the same warrior. At this moment, Su Chong burst out with a strength of at least 100,000 kilograms, as if the sky was torn apart. In an instant, a huge deep pit appeared on the spot. In Su Chang's opinion, that wild boar was at most the level of a high-level warrior, and it was only a beast soldier. Of course, it was impossible to withstand such a powerful force. Kill the apprentice level 3 monster and get 10 system points. According to the kill reward given by the system, killing a monster of the first rank of apprentice will reward you with 3 system points. Level 2 apprentices will be rewarded with 5 system points. Level 3 apprentices will be rewarded with 10 system points. Starting from the 4th level of apprenticeship, warriors and monsters have entered a new stage of warriors, so the rewards have increased. Apprentice monsters of Tier 4 will be rewarded with 30 system points after killing them. Level 5, 50 system points. Level 6, 100 system points. Starting from the 7th level, it is the God of War stage, which is the so-called Lord level for monsters. At the beginning, it is 1000 points, and as the strength increases, there are also 2000 or 3000 points. The reward of system points does not have a fixed increase. Su Chong reckons that the increase in the monster's strength is not fixed, and there will be a significant increase after breaking a certain limit. Such an increase in strength will of course increase the difficulty of killing monsters. Even the most Lord-level monsters will be surrounded by groups of low-level monsters. For warriors, the difficulty of hunting will increase to a new level. Publish system tasks. Mission objective: kill 3 Lord-level monsters. Quest reward: it depends on the level of the monster killed. The stronger the monster of the Lord level killed, the higher the reward. The sudden system task really surprised Su Chong for a moment. Killing 3 Lord level monsters? Does the reward depend on the level of the monster killed? Thinking of this, Su Chong immediately became interested. The world that devours the stars is huge. The vastness of the entire universe is definitely beyond the comprehension of ordinary people. He also wants to be a strong man who can fly freely in the universe and can decide the fate of others in a single thought, rather than being forced to live under the breath of others. Ants. The growth of a certain person starts from this task. The current Su Chong has no weapons to use. Of course, there are many things in the system wall, but he can't afford them. So the first step is to accumulate enough system points and exchange enough powerful weapons and equipment from the system store, otherwise he will not be able to kill those Lord-level monsters. Su Chang's figure began to move at a high speed, and his mental power madly scattered around. This is the first time he has used the power of thought to conduct extensive searches, but the effect is surprisingly good. One after another aura of varying strength appeared in his mind, as if a brand new map was drawn in his mind. At the same time, Su Chong directly exploded the speed of sound, a strong spatial explosion sounded around him, and he went straight towards a small herd of tigers and leopards. The group of beasts in front of them is barely a bit strong in this small area of 003. There are a total of more than 100 monsters in the group, of which the beast soldiers occupy more than 90, and the rest are beast generals. Among them, there are many high-level beasts that are equivalent to high-level warriors. Such a formation, if it is not in the 003 wilderness area where the Lord-level monsters are full of monsters, how can it be used as the top fighting force in the wilderness area? However, even though it was in 003, this tiger and leopard group never crossed the border at will, but just hunted and reproduced on their lords safely and steadily, so there have been no major problems. One of the junior beast generals, the tiger and leopard beast, looked up at the sky, only to feel that some strange changes had taken place in the distance, and buildings were destroyed one after another. It seems that some extraordinary creature is moving fast. However, he also didn't hear the screams and calls for help from other monsters. It wasn't that high intellect that didn't allow him to discover anything from it. However, although it didn't understand the situation, it was impossible for Su Chong to stop what he was doing. The next moment, Su Chang's figure appeared directly in front of it. In the gap when the primary beast general, the tiger and leopard beast, hadn't reacted, Su Chong slammed his fist down. There is no superfluous reason. Although Su Chong has the existence of the Fuxi sword art, he does not have any weapons at hand, so he can't actually fight. In fact, Su Chong didn't think there was anything wrong with him like this. His punch would weigh at least 80,000 kilograms. Such power is undoubtedly devastating to the junior beast in front of him. He was killed with one punch, the body was smashed far away, and finally was pulled by a large rock, and a roar erupted. Kill the apprentice tier 4 monster and get 30 system points. The familiar beep sounded again. Su Chong shook his head, looked at the steadily rising system points, and showed a satisfied smile. At the same time, the tiger and leopard herd not far away also found Su Chong, an uninvited guest. All the monsters woke up, their eyes moved in the direction of Su Chong, and murderous intent emerged. Although the leading beast general tiger leopard beast can see that Su Chong is not a simple thing, he will definitely be a formidable enemy. But they have lived in this area of 003 for a long time, and have long regarded it as their own territory. Now that their own territory is attacked, of course they cannot tolerate it. The monster's roar kept ringing in midair. This high-level beast leader obviously had a certain intelligence. It didn't choose to rush directly to the front. Instead, all the younger brothers below turned towards Su. Go often. Trying to judge Su Chang's strength in this way. It's a pity that Su Chang's strength doesn't need it to be judged. A powerful psychic power appeared on the field, and the huge pressure seemed to fall from the sky, and all of a sudden, the speed of the tigers and leopards running on the field was greatly reduced. The next moment, a sharp steel bar went away from a distance, directly inserted into the bodies of a group of tigers and leopards, taking their lives away in an instant. At the same time, a small building began to tremble, and with Su Changnian's urging, it slowly began to rise. Seeing this scene, a very humanized shock and fear appeared in the eyes of the tiger and leopard beast leader. It's not that it has never seen a building directly destroying a building. One point is that it can do it on its own. The body of a high-level beast general is actually quite strong. But what he never expected was that there are humans who can hang buildings out of thin air. What kind of terrifying power is this? How could such a person be able to fight against him? Seeing that the younger brothers below died one by one, the tiger and leopard beast leader did not think of avenging his younger brother, but went directly in the opposite direction. There is also the concept of monsters flying away when disaster is imminent. For this tiger and leopard beast leader, as long as he protects himself, he can still gather a bunch of subordinates in the near future, and he can still live comfortably. But of course Su Chang won't let go of the system points for this series. I don't seem to let you go. As Su Chang's voice fell, the entire building smashed directly at the tiger and leopard beast in front of him, like a huge cannonball, directly leveling an area. 100 system points are in hand again. Defeat these guys and gain a lot of system points at the same time. Su Chang did not forget to collect the materials on these guys. According to the complete book of Earth monsters he exchanged for 10 system points in the system mall, he can see the value of these guys. The low-level tiger and leopard animal soldiers are not very valuable because the material level of their claws is not good. However, starting from the level of the beast master, the value of the tiger and leopard beasts began to rise rapidly. Among them, the tiger and leopard beasts of high-ranking beast masters have a total of hundreds of millions of materials combined. Although the building that Su Chang urged smashed the leader of the tiger and leopard to pieces, the overall materials were still usable, and he stripped them all off. Similarly, there are quite a few beast generals in this tiger and leopard beast group. Of course, their materials, Su Chang, cannot be wasted. They are all stripped off and placed in the system's backpack. Later, Su Chang began to roast the meat of tiger and leopard to satisfy his hunger. Although tiger and leopard beasts are considered to be a rotten species, their value is not too large, but on average, a tiger and leopard beast at the level of a beast can sell for tens of millions, and the leader of the tiger and leopard beast sells for tens of millions. 100 million will not have problems and difficulties. That is to say, but this trip, I made at least 7 or 800 million. This figure is still calculated by Su Chang based on a figure that is almost lower than the reserve price. If there is a way, it can be sold for a higher price. The purchasing power of the currency that devours the stars does not seem to be much different from the previous life. Su's salary in a previous life was only a few thousand yuan a month. If he really had to work part-time to earn money to support his family, how long would it take to save 700 to 800 million yuan? God of War. I am a warrior of the God of War now. This money is just a drizzle to me. Breaking through the planetary and even stellar level as soon as possible and entering the universe is what I need to do most. I want to improve my strength as much as possible, instead of putting my whole heart on it. The problem now is that with my current accumulation, it seems that I still can't buy what I want. For Su Chang, what he needs most right now is 3 things: combat uniforms, swords, and mind weapons. Of course, the points he has now are enough for him to exchange the ordinary version of these 3 things. If he just needs to deal with it, Su Chang can completely exchange for the big goods, so he can make use of it first. But Su Chang was not satisfied with this situation. Because he knows that his strength will improve very quickly, and the replacement of weapons and equipment will probably not be slow. There are no cheap things in the system mall. Although they are just ordinary goods, they will also cost Su Chang a lot of wealth. If you exchange them first, but they are eliminated soon, it will be meaningless at that time, and you will spend a fortune in vain. Anyway, he will not directly deal with Lord-level monsters for the time being. Using his level of 2 gods of war to attack ordinary beast soldiers and beast generals is completely crushing, and he doesn't need any equipment at all. What he needs most is Alavel weapons and equipment. Alavel does not refer to the standard of weapons on Earth, but directly corresponds to the division in the universe. In the universe, weapons and equipment are mainly divided into A, B, C, D, E, F. Corresponding to the 6 levels of planetary level, star level, cosmic level, domain master level, world master level, and immortal level. Going up, it's not something that Suchong needs to worry about and understand now. Thinking of this, Suchong couldn't help but look up at the sky and sighed from the bottom of his heart. It was all the fault of poverty. Thinking of this, he finished the barbecue in a hurry, no longer wasting time, and the mental skin was turned on again. The use of mind power in 9 layers of soul seals was activated by Suchong, and the mental power moved towards the distance, one map after another. It reappeared in Suchang's field of vision. This time, his target was a lone wolf at the level of an advanced beast general. Like Suchong, this guy is also enjoying his lunch, completely unaware of the danger. However, it is also normal. After all, with the strength of this lone wolf, except for the Lord-level monsters, there are almost no existences that can directly kill it. And it will not foolishly go towards the lair of other people's Lord-level monsters. There is no fatal danger, and of course it can be on the safety chain. Just after swallowing this mouthful, before the next big mouth was bitten, a fast-moving figure appeared in its field of vision. I can see it, but I can't react at all. Lone Wolf could only watch the figure slam into him, and then a huge force attacked, and the strangulation of mental power appeared in his mind. Immediately died, and even the fur didn't show much damage. The 9th level soul seal is actually so powerful. Just the 1st level thought force sweep is enough to kill a high-level beast general. It doesn't even have a chance to resist. I don't know what it would be like to deal with warriors or monsters of the same level. After listening to the sound of the system's points being received, and then taking off the lone wolf's fur and other materials, Suchong was in a good mood. Through the direct strangulation method of the 9-layered soul seal technique, the materials can be preserved to the greatest extent. The hunt is not over yet. Next. A week passed, and during this time, Suchong seemed to be insane, wandering the entire 003 wilderness area. Great harvest. Of course, in the process, he also encountered a lot of troubles, and the danger came more than once. If it weren't for the fact that he was also a of war in terms of spiritual master, and could detect many possible risks, he would have been at risk long ago. On the way. On another occasion, he directly broke into the old lair of a high-level lord monster. There was not only a high-level lord, but also 2 intermediate-level lord monsters in the lair, which was definitely not something that Suchong could deal with. If it weren't for the fact that he had enough system points, he would have tended to exchange for a psychic weapon and then left, fearing that he would have died on the road long ago. The Heavenly Blade, an Alavel psychic weapon, can directly damage planetary-level monsters, that is, monsters that surpass the Lord level on Earth today, and there will be no problem in separating their skins and defenses. The whole body is composed of 360 small swords, which can be disassembled freely, allowing the 360 small swords to attack together, or in the assembly mode of the Heavenly Blade, directly flying with Suchong at super high speed. Almost no monsters can catch up with Suchong. Innate is invincible. As a result, Suchong's combat effectiveness has risen by several levels. In a room in a high-rise building, Suchong sat down with his legs crossed, thinking about the current situation. The system points on your body are enough to exchange weapons and equipment, and it's time to hunt down monsters at the Lord level. After spending so many days sleeping outside, I also want to return to human society as soon as possible. Shaking his head, Suchong smiled helplessly, then opened the system, and scrolled the page to the equipment column that he had already selected. The first to bear the brunt is the Alavel Qianlong combat suit, which can directly resist the defense of the planetary level. There is absolutely no possibility for apprentice-level warriors to destroy the Qianlong combat suit. Of course, it doesn't mean that you can be invincible when you put on a combat uniform. If it is a strong impact, it is still impossible for the combat uniform to absorb all of it, and it will still cause the owner to suffer a certain degree of damage. The second is the sword. 100 soldiers, Alavel weapons, directly deal with planetary-level battles. With the Beibing Dao, Su Chang's Fuxi Dao method also has a place to use it, and it is not necessary to use fists to solve problems every time. Putting on the combat uniform and holding the good things, Su Chang no longer hesitated, and went straight in one direction. Host, Su Chang origin of life form, ordinary earth human race realm, apprentice level 7, junior god of war, spiritual power, apprentice level 7, elementary god of war, martial arts secrets, 9 layers of soul seals, Fuxi sword technique system points, 521 items, heavenly blade, Qianlong combat uniform, 100 soldiers and corresponding monster materials. Standing above the heavenly blade, Su Chang, who was wearing a combat uniform and holding 100 swords, walked in one direction at a very fast speed. The task now is to kill 3 more Lord-level monsters, and the stronger the opponent is, the better. The Lord monster killed is the most powerful, and the better the reward he and Su will get. In this case, Su Chang naturally thought of the monster cave that forced him to quickly buy the heavenly blade to barely escape. There is 1 high-level lord and 2 middle-level lords. Kill them, and the reward you will get will not be bad. In addition, the previous few guys almost swallowed him. Su, the grievances here can't be finished in 1 or 2 sentences. Su Chang's speed was quite fast, and the dilapidated city scene flew past him. The 3 Lord-level monsters are located near the edge of the 003 wilderness area, and they are the real overlords. Across the distance, Su Chang could see batch after batch of monsters patrolling the road, showing an organized and disciplined appearance. In midair, several bird monsters quickly discovered his whereabouts. The low-intelligence ones did not flee from Su Chang quickly, but came directly towards him in a rampant manner. 3 beast soldiers. Su Chang didn't want to pay attention to these guys, and didn't make any other moves, but continued to move at this speed. The collision happened quickly, and the heavenly blade easily took away the lives of the 3 beast soldiers. The prompt of the increase in system points appeared in Su Chang's mind, but he ignored it directly. Below, several patrolling monsters sensed the blood falling from the sky, and when they looked up, they saw Su Chang, who was gradually slowing down to explore the terrain. When a human appears, there is no need for any hesitation. A group of monsters below came directly towards Su Chang, their mouths kept roaring, and their voices rang out half a block. Afterwards, more and more monsters were awakened by the alarm-like sound, and they attacked in Su Chang's direction at the same time. I originally wanted to sneak into the old lair and kill the 3 awful directly, but I didn't expect to be exposed due to lack of experience. But it doesn't matter. It's not necessarily a bad thing for me. You guys can become my precious system points and money. Before that, with so many monsters coming towards Su Chang, he might still be a little scared and nervous, but for Su Chang, who has 3 rank weapons at this moment, and his own strength has long since stabilized, speaking of which, it's not a hassle at all. As he said, this is simply to provide him with system points and money. By the way, he can also hone his own techniques, so that his cultivation and combat level will continue to improve, which is also quite helpful to the practice of 9 layers of soul seals and Fuxi sword art. A beast would appear in front of Su Chang and rush towards him. The Qianlong combat uniform on Su Chang's body began to cover his whole body in the form of nanometers. The silver-white combat uniform wrapped his whole body, revealing a very strong aura. Not to mention these beast-level monsters, even lord-level monsters, it is impossible to defeat the hidden dragon battlesuit. At most, these guys can also cause Su Chong to injure him through the impact force, causing damage to him. However, it is still unknown to these guys whether they can get close to Su Chong. The heavenly blades under Su Chang's feet began to change rapidly, and the 360 small swords went straight towards their respective enemies like flying swords, creating a scene of unilateral killing in an instant. In fact, with Su Chang's current mental strength, he shouldn't be able to manipulate so many small swords. 360 level small swords put a lot of mental pressure on Su Chong, let alone a 7th order apprentice spiritual teacher. Even a planetary level spiritual teacher would have a headache in the face of such a weapon, and it is difficult to perform precise operations. The difficulty of the operation of the heavenly blade is here. The reason why Su Chong can achieve this level is entirely because the practice of 9 layers of soul seals has greatly enhanced his mental power and the strength of his mind power. At the same time, 9 layers of soul seals also contains detailed explanations for similar weapons. The operation methods were gradually learned by Su Chong. Although he still can't focus on every small sword, the general direction and target of the attack can already be grasped. A large number of monsters gathered in the direction of Su Chong. In a place like the 003 wilderness area, there is no shortage of monsters, especially beast soldiers and low-level beast generals. Constantly monsters entered the battlefield, and there were constant monsters being killed by Su Chong. While Su Chong used his mental power to control the Huantian blade to kill a large number of monsters, he practiced the Fuxi saber technique with the 100 soldiers. What I have to say is that Fuxi sword art is worthy of being a martial art given by the system. There is no need to say much about the subtlety of Kam's sword technique, and his increase in martial artists has reached a rather terrifying level. Su Chong only understood a little of the Fuxi saber technique, and he hasn't even mastered the first level, so his strength has increased by at least 6 times. You must know that even the strongest sword technique on earth, the 9-layer thunder saber, has only increased by 7 times. One is that almost no one has cultivated to the 9th level, and even if they do, they can only increase by 7 times. One is that Su Chong is only capable of mastering the first level of learning, and can achieve more than 6 times the increase, and the latter realm is more than 10 times more. The gap between the two martial arts is already very obvious. The Fuxi saber technique is used more and more smoothly in Su Chang's hands. The 100 soldiers' sword is used as an level weapon, considering the battle at the planetary level. Dealing with this beast general and even the beast soldier is completely no different from cutting a watermelon. In addition, the heavenly blade cooperated frantically. In just a few minutes, the corpses on the ground had already piled up to a fairly high level. After Su Chong dealt with the last intermediate level beast general in front of him, he suddenly found that the surrounding monsters had been silenced. The monsters that had been rushing towards him just now had stopped, they were just standing far away, their eyes revealed quite humanized fear, and they fled immediately after Su Chang's eyes swept over them. The monsters were all killed. Seeing this, Su Chong shook his head and smiled, then hurriedly packed up some valuable materials on the ground, and then flew towards the central nest. Up to now, Su Chong no longer has the desire to pick up the materials of the beast soldiers. Only some valuable beast general materials will let Su Chong take care of them. At the same time, the other end of the 003 wilderness area. A team of warriors is advancing slowly. The eyes of several people in the team are full of caution, and there is a little worry between their eyebrows. One of them took the lead in asking his own captain, "Captain, according to the information we have now, this area is the territory of several Lord-level monsters. From entering this area, we can obviously find that the number of monsters around has increased, and the quality of the monsters has also improved a lot. Monsters at the level of Beastmasters are no longer a big deal, and we can see them from time to time. Senior Beast General. Those monsters also have considerable organizational strength. During this journey, I saw at least 3 or 5 teams constantly patrolling. This situation is very abnormal. Should we withdraw? After saying the last sentence, everyone in the team focused on the captain. Obviously, he has a very high reputation in the team, and his words are the most useful. These things have to be said by this captain. Faced with such a situation, Wang Yao also seemed very entangled. Of course, he understands what the team members said. Entering the territory of the Lord-level monsters will definitely bring great danger. It is not certain that a few of them will be folded here at any time. In a place like this, with so many monsters, they have nowhere to run even if they run. After a while, his eyes were slightly firm. Just hold on, we've been chasing here for 4 days and 4 nights. If I just give up like this, I'm really not reconciled. That's a red fox. It is a high-level beast general, and its price is more than twice that of other high-level beast generals. This order is a business of more than 1 billion yuan, and it will be a lot of money for everyone. Enough that we won't go into the wilderness for a long time. The value gap between monsters is also very large, and this red fox is the one with a very high value. Strong and extremely rare. The most important thing is that this red fox had just experienced a battle with another high-level beast general when they encountered it. It was very weak and happened to be encountered by them. In order to prevent the red fox from having a chance to rest and recover, they kept their eyes closed for 4 days and 4 nights and kept chasing. If it weren't for the fact that everyone in the team was a general with extraordinary physical fitness, otherwise, under such a high-intensity march and no sleep, everyone would not be able to continue the pursuit. Of course everyone understands what Wang Yao means. Why did you come to the wilderness area? Don't you want to earn more money to improve yourself or live a good life? Now that more than $1 billion is in front of them, they have no reason not to be dismayed. Just when everyone was determined to continue their pursuit, an earth-shattering explosion suddenly sounded in everyone's ears. It's like the sky is falling apart. In the distance, high-rise buildings fell to the ground one after another, as if some creature was attacking frantically, falling into some kind of rage. Furious? Thinking of this, everyone in the team can only think of the overlords of this area, those monsters at the lord level. So this is a lord-level monster getting angry? What is the situation that makes the lord monster have such emotions? A lot of people didn't know, but they quickly got answers to their questions. In their field of vision, a gigantic blue wolf charged from a distance. The speed is very fast, the expression is flustered, and it seems to be escaping from some dangerous creature. Escape? A creature that makes lord-level monsters escape? What is it? The next moment, a figure who was flying on a weapon flashed in front of them. In the process of chasing the figure, the weapon under his feet continued to split out a large number of small swords, heading towards the wolf in front. At the same time, the surrounding buildings seemed to consciously fall in one direction, allowing the wolf to escape. Cause great trouble. The speed of the wolf is very fast, but the speed of the pursuers behind it is even faster. After a few breaths, Su Chong finally came to the front of the blue wolf. The heavenly blade directly smashed the blue wolf's limbs, and the 100 soldiers killed the blue wolf with one strike. Afterwards, the body of the blue wolf fell straight down and fell heavily into the ruins, stirring up endless dust. Seeing this scene, everyone in the team was stunned, and they didn't respond for a long time. This is a lord-level monster. In their opinion, they couldn't defeat it, and the lord-level monster that could only run when they saw it was actually driven to run? It's okay to run away, and the person flying in the sky directly killed the wolf-type lord-level monster as a domestic pig and dog. It seems that he didn't take this lord-level monster seriously from the beginning. An emotion called shock exploded in their hearts, making it difficult for them to explain their thoughts and emotions for a while. After a while, Su Chong, who had packed up the materials, drove the heavenly blade to appear in front of everyone in the team. This is the first time Su Chong has seen a human being in the wilderness for so long. The first sentence of the meeting, "Are you free?" Are you free? Everyone in the team who was asked stupidly by this sentence looked at Wang Yao as the captain again. Wang Yao thought to himself that it was the first time he had communicated with such a person. How could his team members look at him with such trusting eyes? After a while, he replied, "Yes, sir, do you have anything to do? I'm lost and I don't know how to get back. Would you mind taking me there?" Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Tell me where the nearest human base is. After spending so long in the wilderness, Su Chong really wanted to return to human society. Facing this simple request, Wang Yao immediately nodded, "No problem." He didn't think Su Chong would attack them. To put it badly, they don't have any qualifications for Su Chong to attack them, and this amount of money from a group of people can't compare to 1/10 or even 20th of the wolf that Su Chong just killed. 1. Just lead the way, of course there will be no problem. After getting a satisfactory answer, Su Chong nodded slightly and said with satisfaction, "The monsters around here basically go to support their leader, that high-level Lord Monster, so you won't be in any danger here. Wait for me here, I'll take care of things over there. I'll come and go with you." After speaking, Su Chong once again drove the heavenly blade to disappear from everyone's sight. Seeing this scene, exclamations in the team emerged. Killing Lord-level monsters casually, and continuing to kill, what level of power is this? God of War. Must be the God of War. No, it's impossible for an ordinary God of War powerhouse to achieve such a level. I guess this powerhouse must be the legendary Invincible God of War. Hearing the words Invincible God of War, everyone exclaimed again. At this point, they even forgot the red fox they had been following for several days, and their minds were full of what just happened. Wang Yao immediately ordered, "Let's just wait here. The strong man of the of war just killed a lot of monsters at will. We will collect the materials of these monsters and return them to the strong man at that time." Su Chong did not expect to meet a warrior at this time. He was thinking about how to return to the human base city after completing the system task. He had already planned to find a place slowly, but now it is a good thing for Su Chong to meet someone who knows the way. Of course, for the current Su Chong, the most important thing is to kill the remaining 2 Lord-level monsters first. Half an hour ago, he directly entered the lair of these Lord-level monsters. He first fought against the blue wolf just now, and quickly caused the monsters in the entire territory to explode. The blue wolf's position in the lair is relatively special, and it is far from the other 2 Lord-level monsters, so he couldn't hold on until the other 2 guys came to support him, so he was forced to flee under Su Chang's offensive. There is no need to say more about the subsequent situation. Blue Wolf originally wanted to use his speed advantage to get rid of Su Chong, but he did not expect that the final result would be that not only would he not be able to beat Su Chong, but his speed was far inferior, and he eventually died. Driving the heavenly blade, Su Chong arrived at the nest again. This time, he saw the remaining 2 Lord-level monsters. One is a high-level Lord, and the other is an intermediate-level Lord like Kang Lang. The monsters of this level can be said to be the Overlord level on the land. Normally, no one or other blind monsters will provoke them. Therefore, they have extreme disgust and killing intent towards Su Chong, who doesn't know whether to live or die. 2 Ridgeback Soil Dragons. Judging from Su Chang's judgment, the 2 Ridgeback Earth Dragons should be a male and a female. Although this is not a fantasy world, but in the past and present of the Great Nirvana era, the monsters with the dragon character are still not simple, and the monsters with the corresponding bloodline will have stronger fighting power. To be honest, without this equipment, Su Chong would not be able to stand here. Even if it is a warrior and a spiritual teacher, he still has no chance of winning under the absolute strength gap between the 2 sides. Of course, now he has 3 planetary states on him. Of course, it's another matter. Of course, there was no reason to talk to the 2 monsters in front of him, Su Chong, and the Huantian blade immediately turned into a series of sharp little swords, heading straight for the guys below. The powerful force directly penetrated a large number of beast generals, and at the same time, the two-backed earth dragons suffered a lot of injuries. So far, it can only be regarded as an appetizer. Su Chong knew that just relying on this alone would not kill these two guys. After all, his current level of thought power is still limited. The 100 soldiers appeared in his hand, the sonic boom appeared again, and the space seemed to be broken by some kind of force. Su Chong held a sharp blade and flew straight towards the senior lord below. Seeing this scene, a gleam of light flashed in the eyes of the senior lord's back soil dragon. Seeing this level, the level of intelligence is not weak. According to his previous experience with humans, humans are a group of people with very weak bodies. Of course, the weakness here is for comparison, not human beings really can't. It just means that compared to monsters of the same level, the human race's body is more fragile, without a hard shell and better muscle tissue. The earth-backed earth dragon admitted that the man in front of him was very strong, and that Su Chang's heavenly blade had caused him a lot of trouble, and he didn't know what to do for a while. Originally, I even started to think about how to get rid of this little sword that was all over the sky. Now that Su Chang took the initiative to jump down and tried to collide with him it felt that the human in front of him was really cute and silly. Even the physical quality of a high-level god of war is far from being comparable to it, not to mention that it can judge that Su Chang in front of him definitely does not have the level of a high-level god of war. A guy who was weaker than it originally dared to play with it. Humans really don't know how to live or die. In order to kill Su Chang directly, this backed earth dragon burst out with all its strength, and swung its strong tail towards Su Chang directly. From its point of view, at the moment of the collision, Su Chang would be directly pulled to death by his own power. The next second, a collision occurred, and Su Changru was knocked into the air as expected. But what the earth-backed earth dragon didn't expect was that Su Chang chopped off half of his tail with a single knife. His indestructible shell seemed to be nothing in front of Su Chang's 100 swords. There is quite the feeling of a kitchen knife cutting tofu. Roar! A painful roar sounded in the small half of the area, causing Wang Yao and the others in the distance to sweat coldly. Knowing that it was the monster who suffered, they couldn't help but sigh that Su Chang is a peerless powerhouse. After being severely injured, the back soil dragon here quickly began to search for Su Chang, trying to find his body and destroy it. It wants to vent the anger in its heart in this way. If Su Chang is not dead, it wants to let Su Chang watch his life force go a little bit in pain and torture, and then go to death. What it didn't expect was that it didn't find Su Chang's body. The first person to greet him was a small sword with more than 100 heavenly blades. This time, Xiaojian didn't waste any more time with the shell. Instead, he went straight to the back of the earth dragon's eyes. The most vulnerable place was suddenly attacked, and a new round of pain exploded in the back soil dragon's heart. Immediately, Su Chang flew out of the ruins again. The backside earth dragon's tail flick is really strong. Even if a high level of war is here, he will at least lose most of his combat power to meet the one just now. But he and someone are different. He has a Qianlong suit on him. Although the subsequent impact force did not completely cancel out, it did not cause Su Chang to suffer too much damage. After a few breaths, he regained his fighting ability. Then, he hurriedly mobilized the heavenly blade to teach the backbacked earth dragon a lesson. The back soil dragon of the senior lord was blind and kept ramming. The remaining middle-level lord, Talong, still retains complete combat power. Seeing the remaining guy, Su Chang smiled slightly. The most obvious effect of completing the first training of Fuxi Saber technique is that you can use the Crazy Saber, so let's try it out for you. Crazy Saber style, the first mark of success in Fuxi Saber art. After casting, it can directly trigger a 6-fold increase. Su Chang's current martial artist cultivation base cooperates with spiritual master cultivation base to release 100,000 kilograms of strength. A 6-fold increase is 600,000 kilograms. This number, just hearing it will make your scalp tingle. He drove some of the Huantian blades back to form a small platform. Su Chong stood up and flew straight towards the remaining monster. Crazy blade, slash! Huge strength, cut off the dragon head directly. The defense of this mid-level Lord Ridgeback Soil Dragon seemed meaningless. With one knife, kill an intermediate lord. The mid-level Lord level back Soil Dragon fell heavily to the ground, and the remaining crippled back Soil Dragon could not escape Su Chang's palm. Although it was a little more troublesome to deal with compared to the strong, he was still beheaded by Su Chang without any sound. Congratulations to the host for completing the system task. Completion is being calculated, and rewards are being calculated. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a stellar bloodline medicine. When he heard this reward, Su Chang didn't react immediately. After a while, he recalled the relevant information. In the universe, there are thousands of bloodlines, and the creatures of many races are born with planetary level, stellar level, or even higher. There are also creatures of many races. Even if you only eat and do not cultivate, you can continue to improve your cultivation through gradual growth. The best bloodline in the human race seems to be able to grow into a domain master directly after adulthood. Of course, it was a long time ago that Su Chang read the original book, so he might remember it wrong, but that's roughly what he meant. And the stellar bloodline medicine that the system rewards to Su Chang, as the name suggests, is to directly raise his bloodline to stellar bloodline after taking it. Even if Su Chang eats and drinks in the future, and doesn't do anything serious, his strength will continue to improve until he breaks through the star level. Of course, because Su Chang is the potion acquired the day after tomorrow, this time may be relatively long, and more than 10 years of effort is still required. I remember that because the earth is a treasure left by the mountaineers, the intelligent life born on the earth will have a special bonus in the soul, which is why the high-level human race later acquired half of the ownership of the earth. But correspondingly, the physical lineage of earth humans is not good. After adulthood, they don't even have a first-order apprenticeship, and they still need to pass their own continuous training. According to the acceptance of the system, the most important change after taking the medicine can still allow my body to evolve, which is a kind of improvement to the bloodline, which is absolutely positive. Even if I don't rely on this bloodline to break through the star level, but this bloodline it will be of great help to my martial artist cultivation and spiritual master cultivation. Su Chang is willing to do anything positive for himself. After drinking the bloodline medicine directly, Su Chang only felt that a brand new power emerged in his body, as if a brand new energy was changing his existence. He is still the Earthman, and the blood of the Earthman is also flowing on his body. The effect of the potion is not to transform him into other races, but to completely improve the bloodline of the Earthman. It feels good. Both warriors and spiritual teachers have broken through to the intermediate level of God of War. It's not just that, my physical strength and mental strength have changed very significantly. In short, although the increase in quantity is not much, the quality has been significantly improved. So, the bloodline of the Earthlings also has full potential. Host, Su Chang, the lineage of the living body, the Earth human race, stellar lineage, realm, apprentice level 8, intermediate God of War, spiritual power, apprentice tier 8, intermediate God of War, martial arts secrets, 9 layers of soul seals, Fuxi sword technique system points, 10,560 items, hidden dragon combat uniform, heavenly blade, 100 soldiers, corresponding materials in less than half a day before and after. Another wave of updates appeared on Su Chang's personal page. It is no exaggeration to say that his strength has risen several grades. In terms of system points, it has also exceeded 10,000, and there are many things that can be exchanged. However, Su Chang doesn't plan to exchange it now. There is one thing he has in mind that needs more system points. He chooses to wait until he accumulates enough before making a move. Pack up the things on the field. There is no need to say more about the materials on the 2-backed earth-backed dragons. There are also some precious materials of high-level beast generals, Su Chong, who are also reluctantly put away. As for other things, he really doesn't care. After everything was done, he drove the heavenly blade towards the sky again. In a familiar place, he saw Wang Yi and the others. Su Chong didn't deliberately hide his figure, so Wang Yi and the others also discovered Su Chang's return later. Grown-ups. They have a very unified name for Su Chong, and it was obvious that they had discussed it before. Su Chong didn't say much. After all, with his current strength and status as an intermediate level of war, he is indeed qualified to be called an adult. He just nodded and said, "Let's go, where should we go?" Wang Yi and the others did not leave immediately, but took out all the materials collected during this period. "Sir, this is the material for the beast soldiers and generals you killed before, you didn't have time to collect them, we've got it all for you. Do you want us to help you carry it to the field base? Someone there will buy it." Seeing a few people carrying things in big bags and small bags with serious expressions on their faces, Su Chong asked curiously, "Why are you here? Just your line up. If there is trouble here, your chances of being killed or injured will be very high." Big. In the face of Su Chang's question, several people answered honestly, "We were all chasing a red fox before, the red fox is very valuable, and it is a high-level beast general, we reluctant, so ventured in." This explanation is acceptable to Su Chong. And when he was chasing the blue wolf, he did see a red fox in a flash in front of him. It seems that the team in front of him is here for the red fox that he saw before, but because Su Chong wanted to hunt down Lord-level monsters, their efforts came to nothing. Speaking of which, their failure to hunt down has something to do with him. Thinking of this, Su Chong smiled and waved his hand, "No, these things don't mean much to me, you can take them." Seeing that Su Chong didn't mean to joke, Wang Yao and his party immediately showed excited expressions. The loss of the red fox made them very frustrated. After all, it meant that their 4 days and nights of hard work were all in vain. Now Su Chong waved his hand and gave them all these things that he looked down on. To Su Chong, these things are nothing, but to everyone, these are treasures in the absolute sense. Even if there is no way to compare with the red fox, it will definitely not be far behind, it is completely enough for their hard work this time. After thanking Su Chong many times, everyone returned in the opposite direction. 3 days later, at a peripheral field base, Su Chong and others finally arrived at the base. This is also the first time that Su Chong has come into contact with human facilities in this world. To be honest, returning to human civilization is a very good thing. At least his surnamed Su doesn't need to sleep in the open air and eat the unpalatable roast meat he cooked by himself. You can lie on the big bed and enjoy the peace and technology brought by human civilization in the quiet training room. Pharaoh. Why did you guys come back so quickly this time? It's not even a week before or after. The guards at the base were obviously old acquaintances of Wang Yao. Just as Wang Yao appeared at the door, the soldiers inside began to greet Wang Yao. A veteran team composed of generals like Wang Yao usually has to stay in the wilderness for a long time. He came back in less than a week, so it's no wonder the people inside felt strange. In this regard, Wang Yao didn't say much, but said, "I accidentally entered the 003 wilderness area. If it wasn't for this adult's help, I'm afraid we would all be folded inside." After all, Wang Yao is a human being, and he is quite good in the world. He directly brought the topic to Su Chong and took care of his emotions. Watching Wang Yao sip an adult, the soldiers at the door gradually realized Su Chang's identity and strength. Nonsense, if an old-fashioned warrior can directly call out an adult, what kind of strength can that be? Welcome back. Several soldiers immediately nodded to Su Chong, keeping their posture relatively low. After a while, the leading soldier said nervously to Su Chong, "If you didn't leave our base, you need to confirm your identity here. This is the meaning of the boss of our base, mainly to facilitate the inflow and outflow of personnel and facilitate management. In the impression of these soldiers, the god of war is a group of people who are arrogant and difficult to speak. After all, the status gap between the two sides is too big, and people really don't put ordinary people in their eyes. With this introduction, they naturally had a similar impression of Su Chang, and they were very careful when speaking. What surprised them was that Su Chang's reply was very approachable. I was trapped in the wilderness for half a year, and my citizenship may have already determined me to be dead, so I don't think I should be able to sign in with you. Have been lost for half a year. For Su Chang's experience, everyone present was stunned. A person directly survives in the wilderness for half a year, and in a place like the 003 wilderness area. Others may not be clear, but those of them who are stationed not far from the 003 wilderness area understand very well. There are so many beast-level monsters in that place, and powerful lord-level existences are everywhere, but there are definitely a lot of them. Living in a place like this for half a year, what kind of experience does it have to be? The soldiers present couldn't understand it, and Wang Yao didn't understand what Su Chang went through. As the party concerned, Su Chang is very calm. This is just a piece of past history brought to him by the system. He takes the identity of others as his own past to solve the household registration problem in this world. He is still the same person, including his body. If he really stayed in the wilderness area for half a year without any contact and communication with human civilization, Su Chang felt that he would not be able to last. This situation is a bit complicated, let's go up and report it. Of course, you are free to walk in the base during this time, and we will not stop you. If it is a warrior-level character, of course they will choose to control it. After all, it is too shocking to fall into the wilderness area for half a year. Who knows if it is true or not? But Su Chang is a of war. Even if they were tied together, they couldn't be Su Chang's opponents, so how dare they restrict his actions? Okay, I'm not in a hurry. Su Chang looked indifferent, sitting on the side drinking tea and snacks brought by the people next to him. After a while, a middle-aged man with a few people ran over from a distance, sweating profusely and looking like he was angry. After asking the soldiers present, he walked in front of Su Chang and stretched out his hand. Hello, I'm the person in charge of this base city, just call me Lao Lu. According to the statements of the following people, Su Chang is a real of war. Although this person in charge has also received quite a few gods of war and knew a lot of people, but he is just receiving and getting to know them. He is not a god of war himself, so of course he has no right to look down on Su Chang. Moreover, after hearing that Su Chang was a ruthless person who spent the first half of the year in 003, he was familiar with the situation there and quickly marked Su Chang as a high-level god of war. The person in charge never dared to ask Su Chang to call him Brother Lu. It was not right for him to call his younger brother his age, so he used the name Lao Lu to try to bring the relationship closer. Su Chang also answered naturally, do you understand my situation? Well, I have already checked Su Chang god of war your preliminary information. What should I do in this situation? As for Su Chang's question, Lao Lu responded quickly, you have been in the wilderness area for half a year, and other warriors thought you had a problem, so they applied for the death list. Since Su Chang, god of war, you are standing here alive, of course, it proves that the fact of death does not exist. We will quickly restore your identity and report it later. That, I take the liberty to ask, what kind of strength do you have now? I didn't want to ask for any news, but I actually made a relatively detailed report when I reported it. I couldn't write it blindly, so I asked you specifically. Nodding, Su Chang expressed his understanding. It shows that one's own strength is not good. He has no enemies in this world at present, and he will not offend others under normal circumstances. Even if there is a conflict with others, his strength has long been raised to what level? Warrior and spiritual master are two gods of war. The voice fell, and he was greeted by the shocked and awe-inspiring expressions of the people around him. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. One aspect of the god of war is enough to make people look up. Su Chong alone has 2 points, and he has already risen to this level, which of course makes countless people feel incredible. Compared with these people in the base, Wang Yao and others who had seen Su Chang's strength for a long time seemed much calmer. They watched Su Chang deal with lord-level monsters with their own eyes. In their opinion, Su Chang must be a high level of war at the last time, maybe he is the legendary invincible of war. It is not surprising that such a character is a double of war. Okay, I'll help you recover your identity. After clarifying the corresponding matters, Su Chang asked Wang Yao, didn't you say that someone in the base city collects materials? I have accumulated some during this period of time, and I want to find a way to sell it. Su Chang had already taken out the contents of the system backpack and put it in the backpack. Some things are too big to handle, so he plans to find another way to go outside and take out the things in the system backpack, so as to save him walking around with a lot of things. After realizing that Su Chang had this need, Lao Lu, who was standing by the side, said, yes. But the small businessmen in the base don't have much funds, and the price is relatively low. If it's a big business, it's not a good choice to do it with them. I know several professional businessmen. They have deals with such large forces as the HR Alliance, the Extreme Martial Arts Academy, and the Raiden Martial Arts Academy. They specialize in the business of God of War. If possible, I will introduce him to you. Old Lu tried very hard to leave a better impression on Su Chang. It is good. I'll let him come, Su Chang, God of War, wait a moment. An hour later, a small fighter plane stopped inside the field base. A capable man quickly got out of the fighter jet and headed towards the lounge on the roof. Here, he saw the young and excessive Su Chang. The able-bodied man prides himself on being knowledgeable, and he has seen quite a few gods of war, but he has never seen such a young god of war as Su Chang. And from Su Chang's body, he could sense a potentially dangerous aura, better than almost all the gods of war he had dealt with before. In other words, Su Chang's strength is much stronger than almost all the gods of war he has seen before. Hello Su Chang, God of War, my name is Liang Ping. I heard that you have something to do here, so I came here specially. You can rest assured that we, God of War merchants, will not go wrong, and the price given must be the highest in the same level, which is reasonable and fair. For people like Liang Ping, they do not intend to do business to make money, but more to get acquainted with each of war and have a little connection. Later, if there is a corresponding matter, you can recommend it as an intermediary. Aries' friendship is more important than money. These are part of my harvest, you should take a look first. He took out the large straps he carried with him. Liang Ping put on his gloves and began to check the contents one by one. The things here are neat and tidy, all of which are materials of the level of beast generals, which are more than the materials of high-level beast generals and intermediate beast generals. On the contrary, there are fewer cheap ones. If it were another god of war here, there would be no way to get such a harvest. Although the god of war can easily handle the beast generals, how to find these monsters is also a hassle. If Su Chang hadn't had the mental strength to help, he wouldn't have achieved such results. Liang Ping took over the same thing and began to quickly calculate the value of these items. There are 85 pieces of high-level beast general materials, and the average market price is 180 million. We give an average price of 200 million, and here is 17 billion. There are 106 intermediate-level beast general materials, and the average market price is 46 million. We give an average price of 66 million, which is 7 billion. There are 53 primary beast general materials, and the average market price is 9.6 million. We give an average value of 11 million, which is 583 million. There is a total of 24.583 billion. Su Chang, God of War, believe me, this is definitely the highest price you can find in the market. Liang Ping even prepared to pay Su Chang money. Seeing this, Su Chong waved his hand, as if not in such a hurry. Looking at it, Liang Ping thought that Su Chong was dissatisfied with the price, and just hesitated in his heart, whether to pay Su Chong well. He simply didn't even want the last meager profit. If he didn't make any money, he would even get a little loss. However, Su Chang's next sentence caught his eye. "Don't worry, I'm not saying the price is low, I just want to ask if you can accept the materials of the Lord level. It's too big for my backpack, so I just put it in a safe place in the wild. If you can eat it, I'll go get it." Lord level. When the three words fell, Liang Ping immediately showed an expression of sudden realization. When he ordered the materials just now, he was thinking, how come Su Chong didn't even come up with a Lord level material? Now Su Chong gives the answer directly, because the thing is too big, so he can't get it. Too big? Hearing these words, Liang Ping was a little excited. After all, generally speaking, such relatively large materials are not simple things. Under Liang Ping's gaze, Su Chong stood on the heavenly blade and walked straight into the distance. After a few minutes, he came back with a lot of stuff. Of course, Su Chong didn't really go somewhere to get the hidden things, but after disappearing from the sight of these people, he took out the materials of the two ridgeback soil dragons and the blue wolf from the system backpack. The teeth, shell, and some precious flesh and blood of the back soil dragon. The wolf's fur, bones, and many combat uniforms and weapons collected from their lair. These three Lord-level monsters obviously killed a lot of human warriors, otherwise these things would not be found in their homes. Besides, Su Chong also took out a huge dragon egg. Seeing this, not only Liang Ping, but everyone present was stunned. Su Chong is really a typical person who doesn't make a move, but when he makes a move, it's amazing. Of course, they could see where these materials probably came from, and after seeing the dragon egg, they couldn't understand the words for a while. In the end, they can only conclude that it is indeed a dual battle between a warrior and a spiritual master, and the domineering shot is different from that of ordinary people. Su Chong, God of War, allow me to identify the value of these materials. This time, Liang Ping took out a more sophisticated instrument and scanned all the materials. This is a mid-level Lord-level blue wolf. There are 4 types of fur, bones and other materials together. The average price is 4.2 billion, and the total price is 16.8 billion. There are also intermediate Lord-level back soil dragons, a total of 5 kinds of materials. The back of the back soil dragon is very valuable, and can directly create S-level or even S-level combat supplies, so the average price is greatly increased. I am willing to give 45 billion. This high-level Lord-level back soil dragon, Su Chong, God of War, the price of the back soil dragon can almost be said to be the ceiling of the Lord-level monster. Your high-level Lord-level back soil dragon is about 80,000 and 90 billion outside. I don't say more. What do you think of a direct 100 billion acquisition? 100 billion. In the original book, when Luo Feng killed Li Wei, the 2 gods of war, the vulture and the poisonous scorpion, offered this price as a reward to Luo Feng. Yu reading www.yuyugonshu.com. This is a pretty scary number. Up to now, the price calculated earlier has exceeded Su Chang's judgment on the price. According to the price he judged with the illustrated book, 85 billion would be a very suitable price, just like the high-level Lord-level back soil dragon. Liang Ping directly took out 100 billion yuan, and gave an extra 15 billion yuan in price difference. Obviously, he is quite good at doing business, and he has suppressed the profit to a very low level. Su Chong nodded and motioned for Liang Ping to continue. In the end, Liang Ping picked up the dragon egg and came to a conclusion after scanning for a while. This dragon egg is still alive. It's the egg of the back soil dragon. Breathing out a breath, even a businessman like Liang Ping, who often wanders among the gods of war to buy materials, can't help but sigh that this is a great insight. The male ridgeback soil dragon will become a Lord-level monster when it becomes an adult. If you are willing to cultivate, you can even be promoted to the senior lord level. The female back soil dragon is slightly weaker, but it can also reach the intermediate lord level, which is equally terrifying. In other words, as long as such a dragon egg is hatched and adopted, it is equivalent to having a pet at the lord level. In other words, there is a god of war thug. Suchong, god of war. The price of dragon eggs is difficult to calculate, because there are various costs and possibilities in the later stage. For buyers, after the dragon eggs are obtained, it is only the beginning, and all the costs that follow cannot be less. And because the number of dragon eggs traded is too small, it is difficult for us to get an exact figure from previous trades. I can give a price of 40 billion, what do you think? Under Liang Ping's gaze, Su Chong nodded, no problem. After receiving a satisfactory answer from Su Chong, Liang Ping nodded his head and felt relieved as well. In this level of transaction, the most fearful thing is that the other party is not satisfied with the price, which leads to a lot of unpleasantness in the follow-up. The things that these god of war merchants charge are relatively high-end, and often do not have a very stable price, so this is even more the case. Now, in this situation, of course, everyone is happy. The total amount of materials at the level of Beastmasters is 24.583 billion, 16.8 billion for Blue Wolves, 45 billion for mid-level Lord-level Ridged Dragons, 100 billion for senior Lord-level Ridged Dragons, and 40 billion for Dragon Eggs. Su Chong, god of war, the total is 226 billion and 83 million. More than 200 billion. For the vast majority of people, this is a huge sum of money, and most of the god of war powerhouses will not have such gains after working for several years. In the face of this money, what can really be ignored or even ignored, at least it must be beyond the level of the god of war, and it must be at the level of human counselors or Hong and Thor. After all, at that level, after entering the planetary level, things on the earth can hardly help them, so they will no longer focus on the mundane. For Liang Ping, it is actually quite difficult to take out more than 220 billion in one go. This time, he didn't bring so much money with him. After all, who would have thought that the business could be so big, and directly get the backed dragons with the price ceiling among the high lords, and take 100 billion. If you were another businessman, you might not be able to pay the entire amount in one go, and you have to wait for the money to be recovered in the future. But Liang Ping was a professional Aries businessman after all, and behind him there was a large group of similar people who became an organization. It is not impossible to make a temporary cash out, and it is not impossible to fight. The fact is also the case. After a few phone calls to explain what I received, large sums of money were quickly credited into Liang Ping's personal account. Then he transferred the money to Su Chong to pay for the materials. Su Chong, god of war, happy cooperation. Happy cooperation. The two sides shook hands, and the money and goods were cleared. Liang Ping then hurried away with his things, obviously preparing for the follow-up. Su Chong did not leave, and continued to live in the base, waiting for Lao Lu to settle his identity. More importantly, the identity that the system arranged for him no longer has any relatives or friends, so for him, there is no place to go. In this case, it is better to simply continue to stay in the base. Anyway, there is a corresponding comfort zone in it. For Su Chong, who is now extremely rich, there is nothing impossible to enjoy. At the same time, somewhere outside the 003 wilderness area, as night fell, a team of warriors was camping as usual. They packed up their rooms, arranged all the security equipment, and started to rest after the security personnel were appointed. As time passed, the guards couldn't help but feel a little tired. After the Great Nirvana era, mosquitoes still exist, and the guards who are directly exposed to the air are a bit irritable. Just as he was about to slap the mosquitoes in front of him, a bird-like monster swooped down from the sky and swallowed all the mosquitoes in front of him, so that the guard finally did not hear that annoying slapping sound. Soon, another bird-like monster appeared in front of him. The level of the monsters is not high, the middle-level beast soldiers. And this monster doesn't look very smart. It dares to stand directly in front of him, and it's outrageous. In order to prevent him from being targeted by more monsters, the guards immediately reached out to catch this bird-like monster and prepared to kill it. The next moment, this bird-like monster flew into the air, pecked his arm with its sharp beak, and a small piece of flesh and blood was instantly lifted up. The pain caused the anger in the guards' hearts to erupt, but as a martial artist, he did not act immediately, but looked up at the sky, trying to capture the silhouette of the bird-like monster, and then find a way to solve it. Immediately, he saw a scene that he would never forget in his life. Countless the same bird-like monsters appeared above his head, and under the dark night, the moon, which was the only light, was also hidden. The number of bird monsters is beyond the understanding of this guard warrior. 100? 1,000? Even 10,000? He didn't know. The only thing he could find was that there were more monsters coming in this direction, joining the sky-filled bird monsters. From the beginning, it was completely one species, and more other species of birds joined later. It stands to reason that there will also be a corresponding predation chain between these guys, and there will be a little conflict. However, there is no such situation in this piece of birds. These guys are all living in a very strange tacit understanding, madly killing other monsters in the wilderness. Beast tide. After realizing this, the warrior's heart trembled. Although he tried his best to suppress his emotions, the fear in his heart broke out. Reading www.yuyuganshu.com. He hurriedly woke up the rest of his teammates behind him. They made the quickest decision after others also realized what was going on above their heads. Run! If they don't run now, when the beast tide is really condensed, they can only be greeted by a dead end. Only by fleeing back to the human base, and only with the help of a large number of artillery and warriors, can they survive. In the same way, they also need to pass on the news of the beast tide, lest there will be more unwitting warriors stepping into this land and facing the damage of the beast tide. 15 minutes later, the team of warriors initially fled and began to contact their superiors to report. Half an hour later, the corresponding bases around received the news and began to prepare. 2 hours later, the warriors sent by Huaxia gave the exact news. Huaxia Base City, Conference Room. A group of strong men are working on a solution to this matter. It has been preliminary surveyed. The scale of this beast tide is very large. Even if it has not been fully detected, its scale is above the third level. Level 3 or above means that there are at least 1 million level monsters invading. Moreover, considering that this time it was a wave of birds and beasts, the expressions of the people present were even worse. After all, the tide of birds and beasts is faster, and the chances of warriors escaping are even slimmer. And most of the warriors can't fly, so to let them deal with these birds, the degree of difficulty has to rise by several grades. The difficulty of surviving has increased, and the difficulty of solving trouble has skyrocketed. Okay, now the question is, are there any preparations in the bases around the 003 wilderness area that can deal with this beast tide?